If your credit union is to maintain superior member service, it needs to receive outstanding service from its own providers at an overall cost that makes sense. WCvsFED has provided this kind of service in item processing and settlement for more than 30 years, and so effectively that it sometimes goes unnoticed. Now, more than ever, it is time to evaluate WCvsFED's services to your credit union and to consider very carefully the difference your corporate makes to your bottom line. WCvsFED serves 1,000 credit unions and processes $2 trillion in payments every year. This aggregated volume enables us to negotiate lower prices from vendors and keep your costs down. But the most important thing to remember is that a lot of critical functions go into running an efficient payments operation. Many of these are not provided by the Federal Reserve Bank, the Fed, or other third-party providers, but your credit union will have to cover them one way or another. That's where WCvsFED comes in. Our pricing covers a total payment solution from the moment a check is presented through all the processing, settlement, clearing, archiving, adjustment, and research. There are no hidden fees with WCvsFED, but if you consider using the Fed or another provider, your credit union could find itself paying more for the additional fees and resources required to maintain a total payments solution. The WCvsFED advantage for your credit union includes expertise and better value cash management. But any comparison should really start with simple operational efficiency. When you're comparing costs, you'll have to ask yourself, if my credit union doesn't use WCvsFED, can it really afford these extra operating expenses? WCvsFED provides a ready-made extension to your credit union staff dealing directly with the Fed, as well as researching and resolving all of the complex adjustments that occur in payment systems. We provide your operations staff with detailed training on all new processes and systems, along with comprehensive manuals and instructions. To assist with any questions or concerns, our member call center is available from 5 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Pacific Time, Monday through Friday. We also provide after-hours technical support. The alternative is not pretty. You're left to find the time and money to hire, train, and maintain the staff required to fulfill these important operational functions. WCvsFED ensures that transactions post to your members' accounts without excessive payments rejected. This means less time spent by your staff in researching and handling these exceptions. We program this at no extra cost to you. Without this service, you'll need to devote more staff time to researching and handling exceptions. Who is going to cover all the extra work for your credit union? WCvsFED handles all of these tasks for you at no extra charge. The Fed and other institutions probably won't. Either you will have to do it or pay someone else. And who is going to manage and maintain your check imaging room? That requires staff to handle file management, tracking, image resolution, duplicate detection, system monitoring, and much more. What about the equipment and the software? With WCvsFED, there's no need to worry about ongoing equipment or software upgrades and maintenance. Without WCvsFED, you will need to factor in the costs related to the equipment, software, or service fees for image processing, whether in-house or as an outsourced service. Then there's business recovery preparedness. Ongoing expenses include duplication and off-site storage of all software, operating systems, microfilm for copy retrieval and adjustment purposes, as well as hard copy reports. Developing, testing, and maintaining such a plan are very labor-intensive. WCvsFED does all that at no extra charge. Do you really want the headache and expense of purchasing and maintaining your own equipment and software, along with a business recovery plan for payment processing? Take a look at this sample cost analysis. It's based on the average volumes for a mid-sized credit union and an analysis of Fed statements using their 2010 fees. As you can see, on check collection alone, WCvsFED saves your credit union a very substantial amount of money every year. For member share drafts, again, the savings could run to many thousands of dollars a year. And that's even without the added benefits of WCvsFED's cash management value and industry expertise. Let's now consider expertise and the money it can save you. WCvsFED can ease the burden from your credit union for regulatory compliance, once again, at no extra charge. WCvsFED complies with regulatory requirements related to our payments processing, which in turn makes your compliance job easier. Our staff has the education required to stay current on new regulations and compliance. We have the resources to comply with current and future regulations. Is your credit union prepared to train its own staff or hire outside services to remain educated and compliant with the latest changes to regulations and payment services? Each processing financial institution has its own set of procedures for the payment adjustments that can result from errors or other circumstances. Adjustments from the Fed are very often difficult and time-consuming to trace. It requires an experienced staff member with at least one equally experienced backup and can become quite labor-intensive. Staff needs specific knowledge of the adjustment procedures for each same-day settlement bank as well as the Fed. WCvsFED's back-office operations team not only has years of experience working with credit unions, but also knowledge and training in the balancing, adjustment, and research procedures for every same-day settlement bank and, of course, the Fed. The alternative for your credit union is to go to the time and expense of hiring, training, and maintaining the staff required to fulfill the back-office functions. Now let's take a look at where the WCvsFED Advantage plays into simple cash management common sense. If your credit union settles its payments through WCvsFED, we take care of the Fed for you. We don't charge for that. WCvsFED has its own Fed account, through which we settle a variety of payments for our member credit unions. We reconcile, monitor, and fund this Fed account. Experienced treasury management professionals manage this account throughout the day. You don't have to worry about it. But without it, your credit union would have to establish and maintain its own Fed account and carry the burden of reconciling, monitoring, and funding it. And what if you overdraw? WCvsFED provides a backstop for any unexpected circumstances that may cause your credit union to overdraw its respondent account during the banking day. We fund our Fed account to ensure that none of these daylight overdrafts occur. Without this protection, your credit union may be subject to daylight overdraft fees from the Fed. The settlement dollars that flow in and out of your credit union's accounts are critical to its operating soundness. WCvsFED pays hard dollar dividends on settlement, and you only pay for the services you use. WCvsFED provides an automated, free transfer of funds into your overnight investment account with 100% of those funds invested at our highest overnight rate. And we pay the earnings credit on the full balance, not 90% of it as most banks are currently paying. Other settlement providers frequently require you to maintain what is called a compensating balance, just to use their service. This account will only pay you earnings after they take out float and reserve requirements, typically 10%. These requirements are intended to cover processing charges, but any overage is rarely returned to your credit union. In addition to operational efficiency, the hard cash advantage of working with WCvsFED, clearly the expertise and cash management factors we've just looked at add significant value. It makes common sense to use WCvsFED. If you would like to find out more about the WCvsFED Advantage, ask your CEO or manager to contact your WCvsFED relationship manager. We hope you have found this presentation useful.